Hey you guys, it's Peter, and I'm back. Of course I'm back. I'm not going anywhere. Beast. Peekaboo. I see you because I'm YouTube famous now. Available 2023, the album. Dad, Shimmy Shimmy, AF. Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? Beast. Working at the car wash, yeah. Rock on, roll, dust, woman. Beast! How are you guys doing today? Oh my God, what a day I have had. Today was Cousin Fun Day, which is when my cousin Caroline comes and picks me up, and then I run all kinds of errands, and we go all over the place. We went to Crumble Cookies. We went to Crumble Cookies. We went to Crumble Cookies, and I got my Crumble Cookies to do the review. So that review will be up on my review channel. And I also got something at Costco to review that I'm going to be reviewing tomorrow. And I'm back. I took a week off. But I am back, and I am making videos. I made 2 drama videos yesterday, and today I'm going to be talking about Dennis Deaf the Noodle. Today we're going to be talking about the Noodle and his apology tour, okay? So, I haven't made a video about Deaf Noodles in quite some time. If you guys know, and you've been watching me for a while, you know there was, I don't know, a couple weeks there, or maybe like a couple months, where I was following very closely everything that was going on with Dennis and him starting his comedy club and him coming at people and making, you know, very derogatory statements and hurtful statements towards people and just kind of being an ass and all, you know, in all sincerity. He was just being hurtful to people and really destroying his career. And, you know, it was interesting because at that time there were a lot of people that were coming out in defense of Dennis, and they were saying, I really think that this is like a project that he's doing, and he's going to come out later and he's going to prove like what happens when you, like, you know, ruin your career on YouTube. I think sometimes we give these people way too much credit. You know, it's like when Shane Dawson did his whole series with Jeffree Star, and people were like, this is actually, he's going to do this whole series, this is genius. He's doing this whole series to talk about drama and how drama affects all this kind of stuff. And I think now in retrospect, we know that that was actually not what Shane Dawson was doing at all. In fact, Shane Dawson just got himself caught up in the drama and became the drama and ended up, you know, getting himself, quote unquote, canceled or whatever as a result of that. And that is exactly what happened to Dennis Deaf Noodles as well. Somebody that at the time that his career was thriving, was getting hundreds of thousands of views on his videos. He was posting daily, you know, videos where he was doing irrelevant news, and he was talking about YouTube stories and pop culture stories, and people really enjoyed his videos. And they were a little bit of they were very scripted, which I don't mind, and they were, you know, comedy mixed with, you know, some kind of silly kind of jokes in there with the stories, and he just kind of would give you, you know, several stories in one and whatnot. And he seemed to have a really good model for what he was doing, and people seemed to really enjoy it. And then it kind of turned. He said he didn't want to do drama commentary anymore, and so he was going to stop doing that. And then he started building this comedy roast club where he was like, anybody can come and roast me, but he didn't want anybody really to roast him because then when they would, he couldn't handle it. And then he started coming for anybody on social media that had anything to say to him, and he started blocking them. He blocked me. I'm still blocked, okay? He's apparently now gone on this apology tour where he is apologizing to all of these creators that he came out and said things about. He called me corny. Listen, girl, I know I'm corny, okay? Beast. I mean, I know I'm corny, okay? I can own it all day long. But he blocked me and called me corny. And so, you know, when he wants to come out and talk about how he's a changed person, I'm a change. They always come out and say that. Like, I don't know who I was, but I'm not that person that I was. Well, at that time, you were that person, you know? So let's talk about who you were at that time and what you're doing to rectify the situation now. Because very rarely in life Are we just one person at one time, and then all of a sudden we become somebody completely different, and nothing occurs in between there? You know what I mean? Like, it's interesting to me that you can just come out and say, well, at this one point in time, when I was being very hurtful to people, and I was making hurtful statements, and I was being, you know, arrogant, and I was being led by ego and pride, and I was doing all of this crap, right? And then all of a sudden, now, I've made a 180 switch, but I can't explain to you what has occurred to give me this switch. So he's apparently gone on this apology tour where he is apologizing to a lot of creators and, you know, going into their DMs and like reaching out to them and saying, hey, like, I'm really sorry for like how I treated you and blah, blah, blah. Some of them have accepted it. Some of them have not. I'm waiting to get unblocked, okay? Not that I like really care, because I don't, but you know, until I get unblocked, I don't really necessarily believe that he is this changed person. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, okay, you blocked me for having an opinion about all this hurtful stuff that you were putting out there into the world, and I was, I think, pretty fair to Dennis at that time. By the way, I need to make a very serious announcement. No, like in truth, I need to make a very serious announcement. I did this about a month ago, and it is kind of has something to do with Dennis. So I did this about a month ago, and I think some people forgot this. So I have made a decision, a very serious decision, that in 2023, I am going to start a cover band. So I don't know if you guys heard me announce that. But my cover band is going to be called Honey Dijon and the Chicken Tendies, and I would prefer at this point to be called Honey Dijon. That is going to be my stage name. So I want to be called Honey Dijon. Now y'all can't be Honey Dijon, okay? There's only one Honey Dijon. Like, there's only one Beyonce. There's only one Dion. There's only one Diana Ross, okay? I am Honey Dijon. But then there were all these people that were like, well, the Noodle should be your backup singer, and that's how he could repair his career. And I totally agree. You know, now there is an audition situation that you have to go through, okay? You have to sing something. So the Noodle, if you're out there, okay, clean up your bush, clean it up, and come to the audition and share a tune with us. If you want to, you know, I don't know, sing something like, I tried my best, but I guess my best wasn't good enough. So anyway, but please, Dennis, if you want to repair your career, I would love to go on tour with you, okay? Gabby Hanna is going to be opening for me. I know that you reached out to her at one point. So we're going to go on tour. It's Honey Dijon, and you can be one of the chicken tendies, because nobody wants the Noodle anymore, apparently, all right? So anyway, I was getting a bunch of messages from people that were like, you haven't talked about the Noodle. Why aren't you talking about the Noodle? Why aren't you talking about this apology tour that he's gone on and all this kind of stuff? Well, first of all, I'm blocked, okay? So I have to go into my sock accounts. Now, if you don't know what a sock account is, a sock account is when you're either a drama channel or a troll, okay? And you have, like, side accounts that you can go in and follow these people and see what they're doing, because they just come out and they block your main account. And then you have to go in on these side accounts and see what they're doing, right? And for a while, when he was, like, acting up and all this kind of stuff, I was going in, like, on a daily, every other day basis, and I was kind of, like, watching what he was doing and whatever. But then it was like, I started getting so bored, because it was like, it was very obvious to me, I would say about 3 months ago, that Dennis really realized that he screwed the pooch, okay? It was very obvious to me. He started coming back, even though he said he didn't want to do drama commentary videos, that he was starting to make drama commentary videos again. In fact, when you go over to his channel, that's really all he is doing at this point again. Hold on a second. I had his channel pulled up here. You can go in here and it says, Andrew Tate sentenced and it's bad. That was 7 hours ago, sitting at 3.6 thousand views. Jeffree Star threatens to sue me. I haven't watched this video, but I'm sure it's about Jeffree Star coming out and saying that he's going to sue media outlets. Allegedly, 4,000 views. And Brent Rivera attacks YouTuber. Andrew Tate sues victim for $300 million. Jeffree Star canceled by they, thems. And it goes on, and it's just all of these different things about YouTubers on here, and pop culture. Megan Fox exposed MGK in the worst way, and it goes on and on and on. And then there's this video called About Last Year, which I'm going to talk about in just a second. But he has been, for the last several months, trying to repair his career. Now, when you're talking about some, you know, and a lot of YouTubers, you know, YouTube is not doing as great as it was back in the day. So I think that like a lot of channels are suffering view-wise and things like that right now, right? But when you're talking about how you had a channel that was sitting at getting 100 to 200,000 views on every single video that you were posting on a daily basis, and now you're getting 4,000 views, okay, of your own doing, because you pushed your audience so far away, because basically what you said is, I can't stand you, yada, 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 you know, and don't follow me, and all these, he said things like, go off yourself. I mean, said some really, really horrific things, right? Okay, so I think people are just done with him. They're like, I wasn't that really invested in you to begin with. And this is the thing about Dennis, is that, you know, I was talking to somebody about this the other day. When you have, like, I don't even really know as another example to use, but when you have a channel that people are interested in the life of that creator, then even when they do really problematic things, there is a huge segment of those people, the fans out there, that will continue to watch them because they're interested in the life of that person. Well, Dennis wasn't anybody that really brought his life or, you know, who he was dating, where he was living, his history, his back. I mean, he never really talked about anything personal with himself. So nobody was really invested in the life of Dennis. So when he stopped doing drama commentary, people were they were disinterested. And then when he started doing it again, but he was being problematic, okay, people were like, you're so problematic at this point, I can't sign on for this, I don't really care, you're so off-putting. And even when he was doing it, and he would be sitting at his desk in his office or whatever, there was such an arrogant, sarcastic tone to him that didn't exist before, that it was so cringe to watch. It was like, you know, I go to YouTube, I watch YouTube videos for enjoyment. I watch YouTube videos for escape because they're fun and things like that. When I'm not getting that out of, you know, a YouTube video or a YouTuber, I don't continue to watch them. When I watch a YouTuber and every video seems angry and hateful, and like, I stop watching that person. Like, that's not enjoyable for me. Like, that's not what I want to watch. The other thing is, I think that a lot of Dennis's fans were very concerned about him because they were like, something is going on with Dennis to cause all of this, and we're expressing our concerns, and he's saying, I'm completely fine. He came out and said that. I'm completely fine. Don't worry about me. You don't need to worry about me, yada, yada. So then people are like, okay, well, if there's nothing to worry about, then what is going on with you, okay? Well, he came out with this video 11 days ago, and it's called About Last Year, and it's 5 minutes and 55 seconds long. So I just want to talk about this video first of all, and then I'm going to read some comments, and then I'm going to give you my opinion, because the comments were very interesting to me on this video, okay? So he is traveling, he's in San Diego, and it's him basically just like sitting at a desk, and it is probably the most unedited video of Dennis's that I've ever seen. I mean, there's like some clips in it, which it's an apology video. He apologizes over and over and over again in this video. I'm not really sure for what. He doesn't really ever say what he's apologizing for, except for he kind of apologizes to the creators, he apologizes to his audience, and he kind of takes some ownership over the things that he's said and done in the last year, but he's not very specific for it. I will say this. I do respect the fact that he didn't come out with a 30-minute apology video and that it was very short and that it was like, you know, just under 6 minutes long. I think that's kind of how you should do an apology video, right? But he goes into this video and he basically is like, I really screwed up in the last year. I know I screwed up. I've been talking to like my therapist. I've been talking to a lot of friends of mine. You know, I don't really know how to get back to what I was doing before. You know, like I know I hurt a lot of people, blah, 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 blah. But then he goes into this thing and I didn't really understand it. And I have to say, I will tell you this, okay? And I know there's a lot of people out there that do not feel this way. And I'm just trying to be fair. When I was watching this video, I felt like Dennis was being very genuine, okay? There are a lot of people that are coming out and they are saying that Dennis is doing this apology video because he's not making any money anymore, which could be true. There are a lot of people that are saying that Dennis made this video because he's not getting any views anymore and things like that. The video is sitting at 13,000 views. It's not like it gained him, you know, 100,000 views and it's getting a lot of attention. Nobody's really watching it, you know? So, you know, I watched this video. He goes into this whole thing and he talks about how death has really affected him, and specifically in the last year, but really in his whole life that he's been surrounded by death. But I didn't really understand it, okay? Now, as somebody that lost my mom, 15 years ago, and my aunt and uncle 5 years ago, and I've had friends, I feel like as a person in recovery, I lose somebody every month or two that has died of an overdose that I have known. I've been surrounded by a lot of death in my life too. I've had a lot of very close friends of mine that have passed. I don't know that grieving and going through fear of death gives you the excuse to be an asshole. I just don't think it does. Does it explain what he's been going through? It doesn't really, because he doesn't go in there and say, because of my fear of death or because of being surrounded by death, this is why I acted that way, because it pushed me into thinking these. He doesn't really explain it except for just to say this thing, right? Then he goes on to say that he, people were telling him to take time off of the internet, to take care of himself and to take time off of the internet, and that he couldn't do that because there's something about him that is so compulsive. I don't know how he said it, but he said he's so compulsive that he has to be online pushing himself to make videos, okay? This is where I take issue with this video that he did. And like I said, I felt like it was a very sincere, genuine video. I will get to what my overall statement and thoughts in just a second. But when I hear somebody say that, okay, that all of these people out here, my therapist, my friends, everybody around me is telling me to take time off, and I'm coming to you guys, and I'm saying that I was not myself this last year, and I want to get back to who I was, and everybody's telling me I should take time off, but I'm not going to do that, then what you're really saying is that you're not willing to take this opportunity for growth. You're not really willing to take this opportunity for change and to grow as a person. Because what you would say in that moment, okay, is, wow, if everybody around me is saying, hey, Dennis, you need to take some time off and collect yourself and work on yourself and heal whatever's going on and then come back to YouTube, which I think people and his audience would really respect if he did, then, and you really wanted to heal as a person and grow as a person, then you would do those things that people that cared about you were suggesting, right? But to give this excuse that you have a compulsion that you can't do that, to me, is just an excuse. It's just another excuse for why you're continuing to do this pattern. So I didn't understand that, right? Now, I will tell you this. I have watched, in my career of doing drama and covering drama on YouTube, all the way back to the Laura Lee apology and things like that, that people want to make fun of and talk about the gray hoodie apology and all this kind of stuff. I didn't feel like it was a gray hoodie apology. I feel like it could have been better thought out. I feel like he could have, I don't know, maybe scripted some points that he wanted to say. Because, you can't come out and do 5 videos like this. If you're going to come out and make an apology video, and you're going to come out and you're going to address your audience, you're going to come out and address other creators that you've hurt, it's a one and done. You need to come out and do this one time, and then just, that's where it needs to stand, right? And so, he should have gone in and thought a little bit more about it, other than himself just sitting down there. But I did appreciate that he kind of just reached over, started it, and reached over and stopped it. I do appreciate that when it's just this very honest conversation that somebody's having with their audience. I've watched Dennis enough now to know when I feel like he's turned on and it's a character and when he's not. I did not feel like this was a character. I felt like we were getting the real Dennis. This is just my perception. I'm just telling you guys, love me or hate me, I'm just telling you what I saw. I think for me, it's a start. Okay? I think he has hurt so many people at this point. He has done so much irreparable damage, and he's been so arrogant that really for me, and this is just not on YouTube, this is in me in my personal life too, when people hurt me, it's time will tell. Okay? You talk the talk, now are you going to walk the walk? And for me, that would start with, you're talking the talk, the walk would be taking some time off of YouTube to take care of yourself, when you're even acknowledging that that's what people are telling you that you should do. So for me, I'm sitting there watching it, and it's all of these different things. I'm feeling like he's being really sincere, and I don't know, I just was okay, it seems like you have a lot of awareness in this moment about how you really screwed up and all the things that you did wrong. You're trying to make apologies. You're trying to do what's right, okay? And, I've said this in my videos for years now. I am somebody that believes that people deserve 8th, 9th, 10th chances. I really do, okay? That's a personal decision that you have to make. If you want to never, if you don't want to give somebody another chance, that's on you. I get that, right? But for me, as long as people in my life are showing sincere moves towards improving themselves as human beings, even if they continue to fall, even if they continue to make mistakes, we're not perfect, right? To err is human. And even if they continue to make mistakes, as long as they're trying to make amends or apologize to people or improve their behavior or do something different, right? And I'm a believer, in the Maya Angelou statement that when you know better, you do better. And if this is where he's at, that he's trying to say, hey, I know better now, and I'm going to show you that I'm going to do better, then time will tell. And I hope that for him, I don't want anybody to be miserable. I don't want anybody to suffer. I don't want anybody to be down and be hurting themselves and things like that, right? So I did feel like the video was sincere, but for me, it's the work after this. And I have to tell you, I'm not a huge fan of Dennis. I could care less, right? Back in the day, I enjoyed his videos. Back in the day, I watched his videos. Back in the day, he was somebody that, kind of inspired me because I thought that he had come up with this model that really worked for him. And I was like, wow, he did this thing and, he's doing all this kind of stuff and whatever. And I was like, I appreciate that, But then when he started coming out with these really hurtful statements, I was like, I don't get it, and it was so cutthroat, and him coming for other people and all this kind of stuff. So I don't know, like I said, it'll be really interesting to see what he does going forward. The comments on the video are very, very interesting, you guys. And they are not supportive of Dennis, the majority of them. So let me read you the top comments. Somebody said, the top comment is, and it has 215 likes on it, people start apologizing when they are not making any views or money anymore. And the comments underneath it are all agreeing with that. Somebody said I was about to say this. Somebody said he blocked me for expressing concern, whatever. As a Christian woman, I believe no one should be denied redemption. Of course, he would apologize at a time there's low viewership. It's the acknowledgement of rock bottom. He can't ignore the numbers. It's a wake-up call, and he's chosen not to hit the snooze button. Somebody said this is true, but you can't deny that people also do this after having a wake-up call. Somebody said, 6 months ago, 50 to 70,000 views per video tells concerned fans, go ahead and unsub, you haters. Present day, 5,000 per video, lost all views and friends, and makes apologies to the internet. Somebody said, losing views and money is a symptom of something wrong he is doing. As long as he sees that symptom and realizes what made him go through it, as well as eventually grow from it, that's what's important. And I do agree with that, and I hope that for him. No need to beat down on a reforming man. Somebody said it's almost like sometimes consequences wake people up to their circumstances and how they've been acting. He's undergoing a normal process of learning and growing. Addicts do this, criminals do this, plain Jane assholes do this, and it's fine. Also, he hasn't been making views or money for a while, which is very true. Somebody said, no, but seriously, you not only acted like a completely different person and your videos reflected the same energy. It sucks for real because I was a big fan, bro. And it's like you just did a straight up 180 one day and changed everything enjoyable. And that is so true, right? Irrelevant news had it all. Great topics, insightful yet hilarious takes. You have the ability to be lighthearted yet firm on all your views and takes. Somebody said, time will tell if this is genuine. Actions are louder than words. I used to love irrelevant news. It was the first video I watched every day. I did wonder if the change in your behavior was mental health related. Well, I haven't watched your channel in a long time. I do hope you get better. Somebody said, I can't help but be doubtful. Somebody said, bro apologizing because he needs money. Somebody said, still skeptical, not planning on resubbing, but rooting for you and your well-being nonetheless. Somebody said, look at y'all forgiving him because he's really apologizing from the bottom of his heart, and I'm sure it has nothing to do with his views and channel dying. So it's interesting, it's like, is he apologizing and is he coming back and, trying to make amends to other YouTubers and trying to, I don't know, reform himself, as people are saying, because of the consequences of his behaviors. I am a believer that based on the consequences of our behaviors that we want to change as human beings. As an addict in recovery, I am a believer that people don't get sober until they've had enough pain in their life. I do. Do I wonder if Dennis has had enough pain at this point and he doesn't want to continue to go on having pain and losing people in his life and things like that? Yeah, I think, sometimes you know, I've talked a lot about this on my Peterisms channel, but like, as a person that grew up in chaos, I thrived for years very well in chaos. I don't anymore. I like peace and serenity. And peace and serenity are not a luxury to me today. I mean, I have to have them in my life. But I think, you know, like, when you're in it and you're building this comedy club and whatever, which was just so ludicrous on the outside, watching it all, and he's got all these people feeding his ego, and yeah. I mean, and they were all people that didn't really have his best interest in mind whatsoever. We saw it. We all saw it. He didn't see it, right? Because he's being built up about all of this kind of stuff, and he's going to be the next big comedian in Los Angeles and all this kind of stuff. And then what he realized was that wasn't the truth. You know, and I mean, God knows what he lost behind the scenes, financially, relationship-wise, how much it really took him down and hurt him. We don't know, you know. I know there's been lawsuits and things like that have occurred, and I don't want to get into all of that, but it's like, who knows really what he has really lost as a result of how he has acted over the last year, you know? So I don't know. As a human being, I want the best for people. I hope the best for Dennis. I really do. And I really hope that, you know, he is able to move on and grow. But I am a believer that time will tell. And for his fans, I believe that they deserve a lot better. And I don't necessarily think that one video is going to do it, you know? I think you have to show people over a long period of time, look, I've changed as a person. I'm a different person today, you know? And explain, and this is how I've changed. I've been in therapy. I mean, I talk about this all the time. I don't really understand why this is so difficult to people. You know, for me, and this is just how I do it, how other people do it, it's completely different, you know? I go to my therapist, and I talk to my therapist on a regular basis. I bring issues to my therapist. He suggests things to me that I work on. He gives me assignments to do. With my sponsor, I do inventory. We take a look at resentment and anger and fear in my life, and then we process that, and I look at what my part is in that and how I can take ownership over my part in that so that I can stop those themes and those behaviors in my life from continuing to occur down the road, because I don't want to have that in my life, you know? And I can get in a video and I can explain very easily the work that I've done to try to, you know, repair myself and be the best version of myself. So for me, it's always interesting when people say I'm a changed person and I don't know who that person was, or I'm different than who I was a year ago, but they can't explain how that change occurred. It's just, I don't get that, right? Like, if you've really done the work, explain the work. Like, if you were going to go and build a garden in the backyard, I'm just making this up, right? Because I'm thinking about doing this. But if you were going to build a garden in the backyard, right, and you had, let's say, carrots, asparagus, I don't even know, you know, tomatoes or whatever, and I said to you, well, how did you build a garden? You know, you wouldn't just say, what do you mean? I just built a garden. It's a garden. The garden just exists now. No, you'd say, well, I bought soil, and I picked out the area that I was going to build it in, and I fenced it in, and I planted the seeds, and I watered the seeds. I mean, you could tell us the process of what that looked like, you know? Growing as a human being is not a whole lot different than growing a vegetable garden. It just really isn't. And it shouldn't be that difficult to explain to somebody, you know? Especially when I feel like you owe it to your audience to do that. Because they're the ones that got you where you got in the beginning, you know? Or got you where you got to begin with. So, anyway, let me know what you think about all of that in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.